Hello, my friend. Welcome to another video. So today I'm going to do a combo painting. This is going to be an acrylic pour and a piece of resin art combined. I'm going to show you how to do that. And at the end of this video, I have uploaded some images and some videos from Mexico. So make sure you stay to the end to see that. So what I have here are some leftover paints from my last painting, which I'm going to show you that painting also in this video, how it came out. I just dumped them all into a bowl together. There were 3 colors only: gold, copper, and a little tiny bit of silver. That was it. And what I'm pouring into that is some Artist Loft Flow Acrylic White that is mixed with American FLOETROL and water. Now, the other paints that are in the bowl are mixed exactly the same way. So my idea for this painting was a golden galaxy. I envisioned a beautiful burst of gold going through the night sky, and then having some bursts of black and gold and white surrounding it. So this is how I achieved that. So I first started on a dry canvas. There is no base coat on this canvas, and I literally poured the paint right down the center of the canvas. I'm going to pick up the canvas, tilt it around until I like the composition that's flowing down the center. I'm going to sprinkle in a little tiny bit of glitter, and then I'm going to let it dry. Pouring out colors of ribbon of colors, as I'm doing here, can really make for an interesting composition. So now I'm just tilting. This is real time. Now I am speeding up some of this process, but you can just see here how slow I'm actually going, because I don't want to ruin my pattern or have it go into areas where I don't want the paint to be. I want to try to keep some of that negative space for my resin design. You also want to make sure you get enough of that paint off of the canvas. You want a very thin layer when you're done tilting. Leaving too much paint on the surface can cause the paint to crack and or ruin the design. So I didn't have many cells or much lacing in this painting, so after I torched the air bubbles, I decided to add in just a little bit of black lacing. So for that, I used my mixture of Australian FLOETROL that is mixed with Golden's Heavy Body Carbon Black paint. So I just took a little strip of packaging, plastic packaging, and dipped it in the black and kind of just pulled through the paint, creating patterns of lacing throughout. So I'm just going with the flow of the paints, kind of following along the lines and the ribbons and adding in a little bit of that black. Again, I just want to remind you, at the end of this video, I have included videos and clips from my vacation in Mexico. It was just such a great time, and I hope you watch that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Not only about the vacation, but the painting too. So I'm just finishing up here, and then we're going to move on to glitter. So now I'm going to use some of my Win Modern Art Luxe powder Fiji Sunset is the name of the color. This stuff you can add into your acrylic paint to make it sparkly. You could sprinkle it on top, or you could use it in your resin, or in this case, on your dry canvas and on top of your wet paint. I just took a paintbrush, dipped it in the glitter, and I'm just tapping till it drops to the canvas. I want splotchy areas of it because, again, I'm going for a galaxy look. Okay, so this is dry, and now what I want to do is I think I'm going to take some black paint, and I'm just going to soften the edge around the entire pour, just so it's not so uniform and looks like just going straight across the canvas. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with some resin, and we're going to turn this into a beautiful mixed media piece. So I'm going to take some of this medium-bodied Amsterdam paint, oxide black, and just with my brush here, I'm just kind of tapping along the edge there to kind of mask it and not have it look so straight. You don't end up seeing this once the piece is done anyway, but just in case, I wanted to make sure I covered all my bases, so I went and did that. Once I was done doing the edges, I kind of just took the brush and blended it out onto the canvas. Again, though, you're not going to see this. All right, let me show you some of the products I'm going to use to color my resin. Now, most of these products can be bought through artisttilldeath.com. The link and the discount code is in the description, but we have here my lovely liquid gold that I love to use. Now, this is bought through Blick, Dick Blick Art Supplies. There's a link for that in the description. For my black, I'm using a combination of a few drops of Casting Craft black pigment. You could get this online at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, all of those fun places. And then some black truffle by Color Obsession. Again, these brands here are all through Artists Till Death. Then I have Just Resin's Bright Gold. I have Lorez Angel White and Lorez Rich Copper. A little tip for you. When you're working with resin, specifically for art, this does not apply to when you're just using it for a top coat. When you're using it for an art, always try to put your colorants in the cups first before you mix up your resin. When you work with resin, all resins have what's called a working time, which means it's going to last this long before it starts to heat up and get too thick and you can't work with it anymore. Now, the type of pigments or products that you put into your resin can also alter that work time. One product that's notorious for speeding up the work time and really cutting it almost into half is an acrylic paint. If you color your resin with acrylic paint, it's fine to do. You just have less of a working time with it. One product that's notorious for slowing it way down would be something like an alcohol ink or something like this, a spray paint, okay, that's a solvent based. So that will really thin down the resin and give you extra working time with it. So those are just a few things that you can keep in mind when it comes to your colorants. I like to use resin specific products for my resin, but you can use things like nail polish, acrylic paint, spray paint, the cheaper alternatives that are out there. So yeah, just try to put your colorants in the cup first, because believe it or not, if I were to mix up my resin right now, and let's say it's all mixed up, ready to go, and now I have to take the time to open these jars, put the color in, put the lids back on, it takes a good amount of time. It's like 5-10 minutes to open up if you're doing a lot of colors. So if you do that before you mix up your resin, you'll be good. You'll get the full working time out of your resin. Also, if you're using spray paint or something like this liquid gold, which is basically spray paint in a can, you don't want to use plastic cups for that because it will eat through the plastic. However, if you put the resin in first and then add the colorant to it, it'll be fine. So you'll notice I don't have my gold in there yet because I'm going to put the resin in first and then mix the gold in. This way it won't eat through the plastic. So for my resin, I'm using KS resin. That is the one that I love to use. I'm using the Elite version. Now this is a little bit of a thinner formula, self-healing, high heat tolerance or resistance, ultimate UV resistance, long working time, crystal clear, and it's a 1-to-1 resin, meaning however much resin you put in the cup, you put that much hardener in there. So that's the one I'm going to be using today. I have a discount in the description for you if you're interested in that. Typically, I use their KS Liquid Art Ultra UV resin. It's one step below this one, but they were having a sale on this, so I figured why not. Okay, with colorant already added to the cups, I'm adding about a tablespoon of clear resin to about 1/4 teaspoon of colorant. That's all that's needed. I'm first going to pour a majority of the resin onto the painting. There's no color or anything in this one. And I'm going to take my hands and just spread it out over the entire surface, making sure to run my hands along the sides as well. I am then going to grab my heat gun and heat the entire surface. What that does is it not only pops air bubbles, but it also makes the resin much more nicer to move around, more easier to blow around. So now I'm just taking my colors, starting with the black truffle, and I'm just dragging it through the clear resin. I'm going to kind of just drizzle it all along the outer edge, and I'm going to do that with every color, and then with my heat gun, move everything around. You want to make sure that you pay attention to your piece when you're blowing the resin around. You don't want to concentrate in one area too long because you will burn the resin with the heat gun, which will form a crust and a hard spot on the canvas. Now, should you do that, you can fix it. You could just sand down the surface and do a top coat, and that will take care of that. But you just want to keep the heat moving around at all times. You don't want to stay in one spot too long. So now I'm going to zoom in a bit so that you can see what I'm actually doing with the resin and the heat gun. I like to blow my colors back and forth, side to side, back and forth, just kind of blending them together. You're also going to notice that the gold creates some gorgeous lacing in the piece. Whenever you work with epoxy, aka resin, and you use something like resin pastes or alcohol, something that has alcohol in it, it will create lacing for you. Once I'm done moving these colors around, I'm going to let this sit for 24 hours. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the same exact thing again right on top of it, except for when I do the second layer, I will use a lot less color, which you'll see, because you don't want to cover up all of your beautiful work you've created here. You just want to do a minimal amount on the next layer, just to add a little depth to the piece. So this is the liquid gold that I'm putting in, just a few strands of it, not much on this layer. All right, I'm going to warn you, the reflection is horrible when it's black, but you can see where I'm going here. I'm going to let this cure, and then I'm going to do another layer. Mostly clear with maybe just a tiny, tiny bit of some gold or some white, but this is going to be really, really pretty when it's done. So here we go. So here we go, layer 2. Now this time I put a lot more clear on because, again, I'm using less color. So whatever clear you don't use to mix up your colors, you're adding it to the canvas now. But anyway, I'm going to very lightly, couple of places only, add in just some black and some gold. So that was the black I put down. And now I'm adding in the gold right on top of the black. And we're going to go ahead and blow that around. If you're in need of any supplies, you can always look in the description of my video. I have an Amazon shop that has a tab specifically designated for resin art supplies, and I have a bunch of links down there to help you out as well. I also have a lot of resin videos on this channel, and you know, just check out the playlists. If you have an area that you want to kind of define a little bit better, like here, I have an area where the gold is coming out a little bit too far, the gold and the black. So you can take some clear resin and pour it along that area that you don't like, that you want to reshape, and use the clear resin to push those colors back and therefore reshape the whole area. Okay, this is absolutely gorgeous. I know it doesn't look like much from up above, but the lacing and the cells are just, or actually just lacing in this piece, absolutely phenomenal. And then you have the original acrylic pour poking through the background. This was what I was envisioning. Look at that gold lacing. I love that liquid gold in resin. Look at that. And you really can't tell just how 3D it is. Like in person, it looks like you can literally stick your fingers down in there and pick that up like it's an object. So it is really, really cool. So let me flash you now, even though it's daytime. But it's got the beautiful sparkle in the background. Oh, I just love the piece. If you're interested in this piece, you can shoot me an email, artbytammy@yahoo.com. By the way, here's the painting from the last video, all dry. Look how pretty it dried. So that is available if anyone is interested. 16-inch round. I will put 2 coats of KS resin on there, and it's going to be a stunner. So I want to thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed the video, please, on your way out, click the thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe if you are not already. As for my class that's going to be happening in August in Texas, I'm pretty sure the day is going to be August 6th, that weekend, probably or possibly the 7th too, but I will confirm that next week. I'm just waiting to talk to Erica Friday. So it's going to be a full day of learning with just me, and then Erica's also going to be doing a class for resin, which will be fun. So, and I'll be able to help her with that also. So, you know, I just hope to meet some of y'all down in Texas and the surrounding states, or if you fly in, that'll be fun too. Thank you so very, very much, my friends. And until the next time, happy pouring. You wanted to see the pictures? Here they are. So I went to Mexico for a wedding for Miss Erica from Artist Till Death, and it was amazing. This is the entrance to the hotel I stayed at. Some of these clips are muted and some are not because there's music playing in the background, and I cannot play music on YouTube unless I own the copyright to it. So this was the main lobby, and can I just tell you, when I first walked in, all I could obsess over were these wood cutouts. All I could think about was doing some kind of mixed media piece with them. They were gorgeous. But anyway, moving on. It was a beautiful hotel, gorgeous stay. I would definitely recommend staying there again. Good morning, everybody. I just woke up and I want to give you a special treat today. Ready? Good morning from paradise. This hotel is so beautiful. So beautiful. Let me take you out on a balcony. Actually, let me cut this video and turn my camera around sideways. There we go. That's better. There's a pool down there that I'm about to float into. Oh, there's a restaurant right there. Absolutely gorgeous, and about 95 already. I literally could have did an hour video on this place. It was so huge. I'll just show you a few parts of it. So this was a rope bridge that walked over towards where the rooms were. There was water everywhere on this property. The entire hotel, even though surrounded by the ocean, is surrounded by a lagoon that comes in off of the ocean, and you can literally swim through this lagoon, kayak through it. It was absolutely beautiful. It's nestled inside of the jungle, apparently. There were spider monkeys, and I even found a little cat while I was there. Beautiful, beautiful place. Now this is part of the lagoon that I was talking about that you could swim or kayak through, and also one of the locations where they hold the weddings. So it was just breathtaking. I was very grateful to be invited to this and very grateful to be able to go. So next you're going to see where the wedding took place, and then I'm going to introduce you to the bride, who happens to be a real-life mermaid. Yes, you heard right. She is a mermaid. So this is Miss Erica, formerly known as Bauer, now known as Thornton. And she is one part of the team known as Artist Till Death on YouTube. That mermaid tail that you see her in, she had custom made. It is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. So here is one of the wedding guests, Mr. Tudor, a good friend of Erica's and hopefully mine now, just playing around in the swimming pool. Anyway, back to Erica. She loves to be in the water, and this tail is actually made out of 100% silicone, is extremely heavy, and you will not believe what she has to go through to get it on. I really wish you could hear me laughing during this. Look, I quit. It really does take two. But But anyway, I had to mute the video because of the music playing in the background. YouTube would have given me a copyright strike. But anyway, this is how you become a mermaid. And now, how do you get a mermaid back into the water, you may ask? Well, she kind of just plops and plops again and does a third little shimmy roll, and she's back into her environment. Everyone feels so accomplished at this point. So now that she's in her environment, she gives us all a wonderful show, and we all have a good time in this beautiful, huge pool. Erica, hold it up. Hold it up. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're all right.
She was splashing.
Oh. This out. Fresh coconut with a little bit of rum. This was just a little night view walking down towards the ocean. And you can see here the hotel has rooms where you can walk out of your room into a pool. Here are some of the room service dishes that were absolutely delicious. 11 restaurants to eat from. This was some pictures from the beautiful wedding, the bride and the groom. Handsome couple they are. Absolutely an amazing time. So I hope that you enjoyed these videos and pictures. I just cannot thank them enough for inviting me again. I just had a really good time. And that's Erica in the water in her dress, believe it or not, called Trash the Dress. You know, it's something these young kids do these days. I love you all. Thank you for joining me today. And until the next time, happy pouring. Baby.